You've probably heard all the great things about St. Johns County. It's top-rated schools, gorgeous homes, and it's just a stone's throw from the beach. But today, grab a cup of coffee, a cold frosty beverage, get comfy, and let's dive into the good, the bad, and the just plain inconvenient of living in St. Johns County. Hey there friends, it's Josh Rogers here with the F3 Home Team, which stands for Faith, Family, and Freedom. Those are our core values, so if you can identify with that, you found your people. All right, let's kick things off with something that might surprise you, the cost of living here. Now, don't get me wrong, St. Johns County is an awesome place to live, but it's not exactly the cheapest. The median home price here is around $470,000 to $500,000. That's a pretty penny compared to the Florida average, which is about $380,000. So if you're dreaming of a big, beautiful home near the beach, just be ready to get that sticker shock. If you're looking at a $500,000 home, you might be paying over $4,000 a year in property taxes. And that's before we even talk about homeowners insurance, especially if you're close to the coast. Between hurricanes and flood zones, you may be looking at another couple $1,000. So my personal house, it's not in a flood zone and I'm not necessarily near the water, but my homeowner's insurance is about $4,000 per year. And let's not forget about HOA and CDD fees. So if you live in a master plan community, those fees can easily range between $2,000 to $3,000 per year. So the bottom line, while living here is fantastic, make sure your budget is ready for the ride. It's all part of the package when you're just in such a desirable spot. Now let's talk about something that's a bit of a double-edged sword. Development. St. Johns County is booming big time. It seems like everywhere you turn, there's a new neighborhood popping up. And while that's great for keeping the area lively and adding new amenities, it also means there's a lot of construction. So if you're moving here thinking it's going to be all peace and quiet, well, think again. You may find yourself dealing with construction noise, dusty roads, and traffic jams. Roads like US 1 and County Road 210 can be pretty backed up, especially during rush hour. And with more people moving here every day, it's not getting any better anytime soon. And plus, all the new families mean that the schools are getting pretty crowded. So don't be surprised if your kid ends up in a portable classroom because the main building is packed to the gills. Now they're building more schools, but let's just say it's a work in progress. All right, now let's talk about the big bad wolf of Florida, hurricanes. Every year from June to November, we're kind of on alert. Now, most of the time it's just some wind and rain, but every so often you get a doozy. The biggest threat is actually the result of flooding, rising waters during these storms. But if your home's not near the water or a low-lying area, most damage comes from downed tree limbs. New communities don't generally have this issue because there aren't any big trees around. So living here means you've got to be prepared. Some areas in St. Johns County are prone to flooding, and if your home's in a flood zone, you'll need flood insurance. And keep in mind, that's on top of your regular homeowner's insurance. It's just one of those things that comes with living in a beautiful area. Hey, but don't let it scare you too much. Most people here are pros with handling hurricane season. You just have a plan, stock up on essentials, light up the barbecue, and keep an eye out on the weather. Now, if you love a quiet life, you might want to brace yourself for the tourists. St. Augustine, right in our backyard, is a major tourist magnet. And while it's awesome that so many people want to visit a little slice of our paradise, it can get pretty busy. Think bumper-to-bumper traffic, packed restaurants, and full parking lots, especially during the summer and holiday seasons. You might find yourself waiting in longer lines for a table at your favorite restaurant or dodging crowds at the grocery store. And don't forget about the events. Night of Lights, it's beautiful, but man, does it bring the crowds. So just be prepared to share the space with visitors, especially during peak tourist times. But hey, it's not completely bad because tourists keeps our local economy buzzing. There's always something cool happening around town. Just be ready for an extra few cars on the road when it does. Now let's chat about schools for a minute in St. Johns County. It's known for top-rated schools, which is a big reason why so many families move here. But with all the growth, our schools are feeling the squeeze. Some of them are bursting at the seams. You'll definitely see portable classrooms popping up to handle the overflow, and your kids could be in larger classes than you were expecting. The county's building new schools to keep up, but it's a game of catch-up, and it's going to take some time before things even out. So if you're moving here for the schools, just keep in mind, while the quality of education is top-notch, it may come with a few growing pains. Stay involved and keep an eye on any changes coming down the pike, like new school zones and construction projects. Now, with all this growth, there's a lot of pressure on our infrastructure. Roads, utilities, you name it. The county's working hard to keep up, but it can be a bumpy ride, literally. Traffic has become one of the biggest headaches, especially during peak hours and with all the new neighborhoods. The good news is there's some big projects in the works to improve things, like new roads, widened highways, and upgraded utilities. But it's gonna take time. So just be prepared for some detours and construction zones as the county catches up with all this new growth. All right, let's talk about something a bit more personal. Keeping up with the Joneses. St. Johns County is a pretty affluent area. That comes with a little bit of pressure to keep up with your appearances. You'll see it in the big homes, fancy golf carts, and extravagant vacations. Now, there's nothing wrong with the nicer things of life, but it's easy to get caught up in the idea that you've got to have the latest and greatest to fit in. Whether it's upgrading your car, adding a pool, or redoing your landscaping, the cost can add up really fast. My advice, just be true to yourself. It's easy to get swept away in the lifestyle, but remember what's most important is that your home is a place where you feel comfortable and at peace. Don't feel like you've got to keep up with everyone else. Focus on what's right for you and your family. Healthcare is another big topic when you're thinking about moving. So here in St. Johns County, we've got some solid healthcare options. Flagler Hospital is top-notch, and there's plenty of clinics and specialists around. But there's a few things to keep in mind. For most stuff, you're covered right here. But if you need specialized care, like for a serious condition, you may have to drive up to Jacksonville. That's where you'll find places like Mayo Clinic, which is one of the best in the country. So while the basics are well taken care of, just know that for some things you might have to make a trip out of town. It's something to think about, especially if you or someone in your family has ongoing medical needs. Now let's talk about nightlife. If you're looking for a place with a ton of bars, clubs, and late night entertainment, St. Johns County might not be your vibe. It's pretty laid back here. Now there's definitely some cool spots like local breweries and restaurants, but if you're used to the hustle and bustle of a big city nightlife, you're not gonna find it here. Most people are more about family and early morning routines than staying up late. But if you're into things like outdoor concerts, farmers markets, or just a relaxed evening out, you'll love it here. If you want a little bit bigger city buzz, you'll have to head up to Jacksonville. So there you have it, some of the things they don't always tell you before moving to St. Johns County. It's an amazing place to live, but like anywhere, it has its challenges. The key is knowing what to expect so you can make the best decision for you and your family. Well, if you have any questions, just reach out to me directly. My contact information below. I'd love to help. And also join our Moving to St. Johns County Facebook group. There you'll find a lot of families asking interesting questions about moving to the area. It's super helpful. Well friends, thanks for hanging out. It's a great life, and I'll see you on the next video.